all the people that are sitting there saying that Emily's video was just emotion-based and not factual-based, that was literally Creepshow Art's content, because Creepshow Art never had any receipts, ever. She never had receipts for any of her content. What is commentary turned into, you guys? I call it the web of lies, really, because that's what it is. I'm telling you guys, everybody is tied to everybody. Hey jelly beans, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here and you didn't already, my name is Tarrah and thank you so much for being here. If you like videos about commentary on different subjects, talking about scams, pretty much any current events or current topics that you can think of, and you like my vibe, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to hit the notification bell down below. If you're a fan of Creepshow Art, or were a fan of Creepshow Art, I'm so sorry that you're getting hit with everything that's been going on and that has come out about Shannon, because it really must be mind-blowing for you, kind of a mental you know what, and I couldn't imagine what you're going through. Please do not blame yourself or feel guilty for being a fan of hers at some point, because you didn't know, right? I want to start off this video by saying that everything I talk about are my opinions. I'm just talking about things that are on the internet. I also want to give a trigger warning, even though I'm not going to get into any details. There may be some things in this video that will be talked about that could be triggering to some. I'm sure you guys have seen like 100 million videos at this point about what has gone on with Creepshow Art. If you guys did not know, I made a huge deep dive video 4 to 6 months ago on my channel, kind of calling her out for a lot of just red flag behaviors and things I didn't agree with as someone who was a viewer of hers. And that video has been getting a lot of traction lately since everything has come out about Shannon, between the Lowcow, Emily Artful situation, and now we even have a old friend of Shannon's who has come forward on Twitter and corroborated Emily Artful's story, which I fully believed Emily's video to begin with. So that's what I want to talk about in this video today. I want to talk about Creepshow Art's behavior in general, which again, I know everybody's talking about. I want to briefly talk about the Emily Artful situation, but I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about it because I feel like everyone's talked about it, and I feel like everybody should go watch Emily's video. I will, of course, link it down below. I want to talk about Ready to Glare's video about Creepshow Art. I want to talk about some of Creepshow Art's friends like Nicholas, basically the Goon squad, and their actions towards Emily and towards the whole thing coming out about Creepshow Art and how some of it is absolutely disgusting in my opinion. I also want to again talk about the old friend of Shannon's who has come forward and basically corroborated Emily's story. I know some of you guys know from my live stream that I will be doing a part 2 on my Creepshow Art deep dives. I always intended on doing a part 2, but after I had released the first video, Shannon had tweeted out that she was going through, not tweeted out, it was on her community tab post that she was going through a lot mental health wise, and it was right after my video had come out, like a week or 2 after, and my video was getting a lot of traction for my channel size. I didn't even have 1,000 subscribers at that point. And I thought genuinely that it had to do with my video, and I would never want to make content intentionally when I know someone's mental health could be at jeopardy. That is why I never did a part 2. If you didn't watch Emily's video, which I can almost guarantee that you watched Emily Artful's video, it was very moving. I did a whole live stream on that video. Emily's ex-boyfriend is now Creepshow Art, aka Shannon's current boyfriend or husband, and it seems like Shannon and the boyfriend Anthony were allegedly stalking and harassing Emily for years, like almost 10 years. This ex-boyfriend of Emily, current boyfriend of Shannon, did a lot of really horrendous things to Emily when they dated and made a lot of really scary statements when Emily was dating him. His name's Anthony. Again, I really encourage you guys to go watch that video if you haven't already. I've seen a lot of people on the internet basically being like, oh, well, I watched half of it because it's 2 hours long. I watched half of it and there's no substance, there's no facts. And the first hour hour of that video, if you've only watched an hour of it, you're not going to get the full context. You're not going to see the receipts because most of the receipts are in the last hour of that video. And the first hour is basically giving you context to a situation and explaining how we got to the second hour and how it all ties together. If you think it's a long video and you've only watched half of it, you should probably try to watch the whole thing before you comment on anything. And I've seen a lot of commentary YouTubers that I respect just making some really nasty comments about Emily's video without even watching it. I will also say that the Goon squad, in my opinion, Nicholas, Tipster, all of them have handled this very disgustingly on Twitter, and they're doing live streams and all this other jazz. Emily has asked people not to attack Nicholas or Tipster or any of the Goon squad, Augie or any of them, but Nicholas, in my opinion, is disgusting. He's basically saying like there's no facts with Emily's story and this, that, and the other thing. I see some people who are worried because Emily is being nice to like Tipster. They're worried that she's being manipulated by them, or maybe something is off with her story. I don't really know what's going on. I do believe that Emily's video had a lot of emotion, and I believe her story. I have seen some people, and some of you guys have even said that you believe that Emily had more of a closer relationship with Shannon back in the day than what Emily portrayed in her video. That could be true, but I still don't feel like that changes the outcome of what was happening, and all of the crazy stuff and all of the harassment that Emily endured from Shannon and Anthony, allegedly. In my opinion, I think there's enough proof that Emily was indeed being harassed by Anthony and Creepshow Art. Another thing that has happened very recently, like in the last day, is that on Reddit, allegedly Shannon's boyfriend Anthony had posted, and it was caught that he had posted, and he was posting things saying, Emily Artful's video about Creepshow, insightful, yes, a little biased. I suggest we look at Creepshow's side of the story. And then he also posted on Reddit, well, sure, but how do we know she's not lying? Creepshow has a lot of enemies here. I'm not entirely sure we should go on this witch hunt. We don't have the full facts. The allegations are merely based on people creeping on locale. She may be spasic, and the R word sometimes, but that doesn't mean she deserves it. The big C vaccines are a hoax, blah, 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 blah. And I love Onision. These are supposedly posts that Anthony had made on Reddit in like the last day or so. Reddit ended up figuring out that it was him and banned him on Reddit. Now it has come out, and Ashley Lilly has confirmed this, that Creepshow Art and her boyfriend Anthony actually did share a phone, which is, who shares phones nowadays? It's like a shared Facebook, right? Like, you know, there was like some cheating and like insecurity there if you guys share a phone. Do you guys share a phone with your partner? I mean, I don't care if Kyle uses my phone, but like, I don't share my phone with him. We each have our own phones, right? I mean, I guess we share the house phone, but like, again, to me, sharing a cell phone is like sharing, because I mean, Shannon has enough money, right, from doing YouTube for so long to have her own phone. So why do they share a phone? Like, that just screams insecurity issues to me. Like, I can understand if you can't afford to have your own phone, but they definitely can afford to have their own phone. I have to say thank you so much to TP out there. You know who you are, for sending me so many screenshots of tweets and also sending me in directions of where to look for things in this case. There's also been a post that came out that is allegedly from Shannon's sister. The post that is supposedly from the sister, I'll put it up on the screen. You can pause to read it. It says in here, now this is supposed to be the sister speaking, that she was a lesbian talking about Shannon, supposedly, but I thought Shannon was maybe bi, but she's with a male, so I didn't, or maybe pansexual, but I didn't know she ever thought she was a lesbian. She never spoke about that I can remember. Maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. So I don't know if that is actually Shannon's sister or just somebody saying that it's Shannon's sister. Basically, the Goon Squad are saying that Emily is exaggerating the story, that there's no facts to her story. But y'all, there was someone who came out on Twitter. They basically corroborated Emily's story, like I was saying. Let me find the tweets. There's 22 tweets, you guys, from this person's thread. I just want to go through them really quickly with you guys. This is from somebody named Kevin on Twitter. I will post the screenshots, of course, on the screen so you guys can pause to read them, but I'm also going to read this out. So I don't know who this person is, and this is, of course, all alleged. But they basically say that they are an old friend of Creepshow Art, and I'll read the tweets for you guys. I never thought I'd find myself related to a situation like this, but I am absolutely in the business of holding people accountable for their actions. So I'd like to share what I know about the situation between Creepshow Art and Emily Artful. In the interest of preventing doxing, I'm not going to include any information that might put someone in danger, but if it becomes necessary for either a court case or if things get wildly out of control, I can provide more specifics. I met Shannon my freshman year of college in 2011. We shared an English class and worked on a group project together. Outside of that, at the time, we didn't have much contact. I ended up leaving that school and attending a community college that was close to my hometown. At that school, I ended up meeting my abuser. She ended up completely separating me from my entire support group, and I lost nearly all my friends. There was a period of a few months where my A-word and I broke up, and this is when I reconnected with Shannon. Shannon ended up at the same community college, saw me on campus, and stopped me to say hi. I was desperate to make new friends, so it seemed like a blessing. She was fine in the beginning. We'd just hang out and share music, but she became concerning very quickly. It started with her introducing me to Anthony's music, which is the boyfriend. She told me he was her ex, that they were in a romantic relationship. The way he treated her seemed very unhealthy, and I told her as such, but Shannon was insistent that he was good for her. Eventually, she shared one of Anthony's music videos that featured Emily and told me that Emily was also Anthony's ex. Shannon told me that Emily was crazy and Anthony only kept her around because she was a good singer, among other things. For the next while, every time Shannon and I would hang out, she would fixate entirely on Emily. She would point out all of what she perceived as Emily's flaws, would talk about how all of her tattoos were related to Anthony somehow, everything she could to put her down. I thought it was strange to fixate so much on an ex's ex, but I was desperate for anyone to help me out of a situation I was in, so I ignored a lot of the red flags. I haven't really been able to forgive myself for that, especially considering what happened next. Shannon began to cyber Emily. First, starting by finding her YouTube page. She shared videos with me, and I naively thought this was harmless and it would go no further. But Shannon started looking for her home address, her phone number, or any other information she could find. Shannon told me how she had plans to harass Emily, either by sending her letters or prank calling her house. How she planned to leave hate messages on her videos or DM her from burner accounts to spread hate. This is when I began to distance myself from Shannon. The distance led me back to my Ayer, which is a different story, but one of my last interactions with Shannon was her proudly showing me that Emily had posted a video about closing her YouTube channel because of the harassment she was receiving, which Emily had said in her video that every time something good would start happening in her life, Shannon and Anthony allegedly would do anything to try to knock her down. Emily talked about how it hurt to lose something that was so important to her, but she was so anxious and in pain from the targeted harassment that she couldn't continue. And it was at that point that I began to cut Shannon off. I felt guilty I felt guilty since the day I didn't do anything sooner, that I didn't go to the police with what I knew, or at least attempt to talk with Shannon to tell her that what she was doing wasn't okay. But I was battling with my own demons, and none of this seemed like an option. Over the years, I would occasionally receive cryptic messages from Shannon at weird hours of the night. Usually just a single emoji or a strangely written greeting. This caused me to block her on most of my social media. Since then, I've deleted or rebranded my online presence to avoid my ire. But about a year ago, Shannon found my new account and added me with no contact. I used this as an opportunity to confront her for what she did. Screenshots of that are in the next tweet. I made it a habit to screenshot my actions because my ire had recently begun to spread incredibly harmful rumors about me. I don't have the screenshots of her response because her account has been deleted, but I requested my data from Twitter today to see if I can get it. It goes in to show what they wrote to Shannon, which I will put on the screen. You can pause to read it. But it basically says, it's basically this Kevin person saying to Shannon in a private DM, like, hey, it's been a while. I'm glad to see that you have a good following. I see that you call people out and try to hold them accountable. And I hope that means that you've changed as a person, because when we were friends, it was very toxic and I didn't agree with a lot of the behaviors you had at the time, and how Kevin has deleted their Facebook, and how they have blocked Shannon on Instagram, and how they rebranded themselves so they feel Shannon went out of their way to track them down or was keeping tabs on them all throughout the years they haven't been in contact, and that kind of worries me. But they also go on to say that because of their ire and for being aid for so long, that it could be their own paranoia, and maybe Shannon is just being harmless with, you know, the contact or whatever after all these years. How it stresses Kevin out having somebody from their past contact them because of everything they went through back then. And they go on to tweet, Victoria referenced in my screenshot is my ire. I use language that includes myself in the past actions because I was afraid of her targeting me again if she hadn't changed, and I just came out completely confronting her. Shannon's response was a brush off accountability, saying we were just dumb kids. She also insisted that she found me naturally, which didn't make sense as we had no similar circles, and I had an even smaller following back then. She immediately said she would block me so I didn't have to be concerned about her, which didn't seem like an action a guiltless person would take. I thought it was over. I didn't know how much she was doing to hurt other people. But it seems like she never really changed from when I knew her. My heart goes out to everyone she has hurt and everyone who thought they could trust her. This is such a terrible situation. Anyone needs an ear, please feel free to reach out. If it becomes necessary, I can reopen my Facebook and try to download the data there, as I believe I have further evidence of Shannon's behavior. But I hope this chapter can be closed and people can find some way to heal from the damage she has caused. So what do you guys think of all those tweets? Now, again, this person doesn't have any screenshots from Shannon, like Shannon's responses or anything like that, but it does show that it is a DM to Creepshow Art. Now, some people can say that this could have been photoshopped, because we do know Photoshop is a thing and people do Photoshop things. Emily Artful did retweet this, but if it is true, then it definitely corroborates Emily's story, in my opinion, right? And then you had yesterday, Ready to Glare came out and posted their video about everything that's come out about Creepshow Art, and I feel so bad for, like, Ready to Glare, because Ready to Glare was someone who met Shannon in person. Shannon had literally sent roses to Ready to Glare like 2 days before the Low-Cow stuff happened. And in the Low-Cow messages, if you guys have not read everything that Shannon had posted on Low-Cow in the span of the 3 years, it's disgusting. Transphobic comments. There's so many nasty comments that she made about her friends, right? And I couldn't imagine how much this must mess with someone's psyche when you think that you have a true, genuine friend who presents themselves as this amazing person who's love bombing you all the time, which I always thought the love bombing was really creepy. That's just my opinion. But to think you know this person and this person you've told so many secrets to, and come to find out they don't like you, or they're talking all the smack behind your back, right? So I couldn't imagine going through that. And Ready to Glare has basically said that it doesn't make sense that Shannon's IP address was spoofed for 2 years, which it doesn't make sense. My brother is going to be in my part 2 deep dive on Creepshow Art to explain how and why that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And Ready to Glare has basically shared her experience with Shannon and just said that it's very cut and dry for her. And she believes that it was Shannon that did the low-cow thing. She explained a past incident that she had with another YouTuber when she was very small, who kind of did the same exact thing that Shannon did. It's different, but it's similar. But yeah, now some of Creepshow Art's friends, I understand why they haven't come forward yet and said anything, because this must be so much to process. But the other ones, they're talking a lot, but yet they're being so disrespectful and gross, in my opinion, like the Goon Squad. And it makes me nervous even talking about the Goon Squad, because I know they attack Edwin, Nick, Augie, Tipster, all of them. They attack. I mean, look at Deity right now. Like, he's literally getting copyright struck by Edwin. Edwin's generation is trying to take his channel down, just talking about things with evidence. So it does make me kind of worried to talk about them. What has commentary turned into, you guys? Like, it's turned into either shock culture or just everybody saying the same things over and over again, right? And everybody being friends. And I'm telling you guys, everybody is tied to everybody. Everybody's coming after Without a Crystal Ball. And I know so many people say that I'm biased because I've had conversations with Katie J, but trust me, I don't agree with so many things that Katie Joy has done. But when it comes to the Without a Crystal Ball situation, Katie Joy, there was a hacker that was trying to hack her, that went after the lawyer, assaults, that there was people sending Emily D. Baker threats, and this whole time people thought that it was, they thought it was Katie J. But in reality, in my opinion, I believe that it was Creepshow Art. Hello? I don't believe that everything that's come out about Creepshow Art vindicates Without a Crystal Ball of all the things that she's done. But I do believe that so many people dislike Katie Joy so much that they cannot accept the fact that maybe Katie was right about a lot of things. And when it came to Creepshow Art and how Creepshow Art lied about Katie attacking her channel because it was just a privacy claim, it wasn't a strike or anything that Katie Joy did to Without a Crystal Ball. It could have possibly been Creepshow Art who was sending all the threatening and harassing emails to Emily D. Baker and to Katie Joy. And in the settlement that was reached between Tati and Katie Joy, the thing that they both agreed on was that they were being cyber S-word by all these sock accounts. And Katie was constantly talking about sock accounts attacking her. And I do believe there was something there. That's all I have to say when it comes to that. I would love to know how you guys feel about everything. If you are or were a Creepshow Art fan, I am so sorry. I could not understand what you're going through right now, especially her younger audience and especially her younger trans audience, because she totally came off like she was an advocate for you guys, and in reality she wasn't, and that's so hurtful. I could not imagine that. Please don't feel guilty for being a fan of Shannon's, because again, you didn't know. Also, it's not like you did something wrong, right? You guys did nothing wrong as her fans, and it's really sad because I don't think you will ever get an apology from Shannon. I don't know. I gotta ask you guys, do you think Shannon Creepshow Art could come back from this? I know the internet loves a redemption arc, but I just don't see her coming back from this. Not coming back as a commentary channel holding others accountable when she couldn't even put her ego aside and own up to her crap that she had done, right? And something in my gut tells me that more people will be coming forward in regards to Shannon Creepshow Art. I also highly recommend that you check out Omnia's videos, part 1 and part 2, about everything that has gone on, and also Hopeless Peach's videos that she has made recently about the Creepshow Art and what she went through. And yeah, just it really makes it hard because it's like, who can you trust on the internet, right? Like, so many people, you think they're one way, but in reality they're not. Just how easily Shannon was able to manipulate people in her everyday friendship lives, in her life, online, and just how much of a poser she was, right? She was just a fake social justice warrior, and behind the scenes she really didn't care about any of these things that she claimed to be advocates for, like the trans community and LGBTQ plus and people of color. It's really disheartening, and I don't know. I don't think she can come back from this. I feel like she's probably already on the internet again, just under some other account name. I can almost guarantee it. Let me know down below in the comments if there's anything you guys want me to focus heavily on for part 2 of my deep dive on Creepshow Art. Let me know if there's anything specifically you guys want me to check out. Please, if you have not seen Emily Artful's full video, please watch it before you make your own opinions, or before you go on Twitter or somewhere else and call her a liar, say there's no facts, or say that it was ran with emotion, blah, 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 blah. And for the other thing too is all the people that are sitting there saying that Emily's video was just emotion based and not factual based, that was literally Creepshow Art's content, because Creepshow Art never had any receipts, ever. She never had receipts for any of her content, or anytime she claimed she was being harassed, or anytime she claimed that she had some kind of threat, or anytime she claimed someone threatened to sue her. Never. And I highly encourage you, if you have not already, to watch my part 1 deep dive on Creepshow Art, because there's so many things in that video that I still stand by. It's not perfect because it was my first deep dive, but it just goes to really show you how much Shannon lies, how much she doesn't do proper research, how much she just goes off with her emotions without being level-headed, how manipulative she is, and just all around how gross her behavior has been on this platform. And I didn't understand at the time how no one was seeing what I was seeing. I knew there were red flags. I knew I had an icky feeling when it came to Shannon, but I didn't think it was this bad. I don't think any of us thought it was this bad, honestly. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm gonna go finish cleaning my floorboards and listen to the rain because it's about to pour. But if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, or you can give it a thumbs down. It's all gravy, baby. At the end of the day, it's all engagement. And don't forget, if you like my vibe, don't forget to subscribe. And I really hope to see you jelly beans on the next one. Bye, guys. Bye!